If there's one thing the video game industry does exceedingly well, it's market a video game franchise. But as you can probably tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, we're not talking about any of those ones you just saw in the montage. No, we are looking at video game franchises that just have died a death. I completely forgot to tell you guys the criteria of what this video is going to be. So hi, Jay from the future here. The criteria for this video is basically simple. It has to have at least 2 games released in the franchise, and there has to be no new games, specifically new games. Collections are fine, but new games released starring these characters or in this franchise in the last 10 years. Got it? Here we go. Let's kick things off with StarTropics, which is to me one of the biggest what might have beens for Nintendo. You play as Mike Jones, a kid who uses an amazing yo-yo to fight aliens and save his uncle. You talk to a dolphin, there's a letter that you dip in water to find a secret code. It's a very strange and very wonderful video game. And the sequel, Zoda's Revenge, is, I don't want to say equally as good because there's definitely some flaws there. I don't particularly like the controls. It's a little too flighty, but it's still a great game. But Nintendo, they've forgotten about it. This entire franchise hasn't been touched since 1994. We're coming up on 30 years of no Mike Jones, folks. No one from the Seattle Mariners, where he wanted to play baseball, has filed a missing persons report. There hasn't been a cameo from Mike in anything. There's not even been a Smash Brothers spirit. Like, we had Smash Ultimate. We got spirits for characters I've never heard of, but not for Mike. It's like they just locked him up. They sent him off to fight Zoda and just left him out in outer space and didn't worry about him ever again. And that really sucks because, to me, StarTropics is just one of those amazing franchises that Nintendo could do so much more with. And we just haven't gotten anything since 1994. Originally launching in the year 2000, we had a video game that just defined style. And that, of course, is Jett Radio or Jett Radio, depending on where you're at. And I love this video game, and I love this franchise. Rollerblades, graffiti, amazing cel-shaded graphics, and one of the best soundtracks ever recorded for a video game. It's just amazing. And Jett Set Radio Future, its sequel that came out in 2003, it was the kind of game that you wanted to play. It was the perfect game to launch on the Xbox. It made the console feel important. It showed the power of what the console could do, but after that, Sega just kind of dropped it. Now, there are rumors that there's going to be new Jett Set Radios, and I'm very excited about that. There's kind of that initiative from Sega to kind of re-embrace their older IPs, and I love that, but I don't know, man. It's something to me that just based stylistically on how it looks and how it plays and just how damn good it is should have kept going. And games like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk prove that this kind of game still works today. It's just, this franchise is forgotten in the past, and that really, really sucks.
Mega Man, can you hear me?
Okay, this one might be a little bit of a stretch because it's not like Mega Man is dead and gone. We've had continued Mega Man releases. We have had collections released about Mega Man. We had Mega Man 11 released about 5 or 6 years ago, but oh man, Mega Man Legends. This bizarre little chunk of the Mega Man universe, a 3D spin-off that shouldn't have worked, and in a lot of cases didn't because it was really limited based on the hardware it was on, but I still love it. It gave us a brand new take on the Blue Bomber with story, exploration, a great ending that's still unresolved, and we haven't had anything new in this franchise since 2000. Capcom at one point announced Mega Man Legends 3, then canceled it mid-development. It was going to be released on the 3DS, but man, it sucks. I really hate that it's gone. And even worse, we had a spin-off game in this franchise with the Misadventures of Tronbon that was equally as great, and it didn't lead anywhere. Like, not even a Mega Man Legends collection was announced. And, like, we got collections for everything Mega Man, but Legends was just put on a shelf and kind of swept into the corner by Capcom, and I wish it wasn't. I love this franchise. It is not the best Mega Man by any stretch of the imagination. It is not. But it is a bold, different take and a really interesting concept, and I just wish we had more of it.
By the sounds of Strap on your board for Slow Dream Japan.
Now, I'll never miss an opportunity to talk about SSX, which is, in my opinion, the single greatest extreme sports franchise ever made. And we got a lot of games in this series. Like, I think we got SSX, SSX Tricky, SSX3, SSX on Tour, SSX... There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And the last one we got was actually 2012. And this game is stylistically such a fantastic franchise. Like, this to me is the epitome of what was possible and what really showed the creative vision of what the Electronic Arts franchises could be with the EA Big banner. SSX was a breath of fresh air. It was something new. It was aggressive. It was dangerous. Or at least, it was giving dangerous, for lack of a better term. But it was so good. And even 2012, which was a really stripped down, more sterile version of the SSX franchise, was still excellent and still fun and had some amazing gameplay experiences. But God, man, it's just gone. It's just gone. It's something that EA gave up on, and people still play this franchise. People still talk fondly about Tricky, still talk fondly about 3, and EA just doesn't give a damn. It's unfortunate, because this is a franchise, and any of those EA Big franchises that didn't tie directly into a sports league like the NBA, NFL, or FIFA, this is something that could revitalize their sports brand. Like, they don't need a whole lot of help, don't get me wrong. Like, Football Club and Madden, those are doing great, but to bring extra eyes in and to put eyes on different kinds of sports that aren't just your traditional run-of-the-mill team sports, that's what EA Big could have been, and that's what SSX was. One of the things that I love about the Mother or the Earthbound series, if you're here in the States, is the fact that it is unapologetically weird. It is basically a David Lynch film turned into a video game. It's what if Twin Peaks was a family-friendly video game, essentially. And I love it because it is bizarre, because it is strange, because it just embraces how weird it is, and it doesn't try to be something that it's not. It's just strange. Now, Earthbound itself became a cult classic here in the States. It was something that really didn't sell well initially. It wasn't something that I think a lot of people spoke fondly of. It wasn't until kind of after its life cycle that people started to realize the brilliance of it. And we eventually got Mother, or Earthbound Beginnings here in the States, released on the Nintendo Switch Online platform, which I think is great. And I love being able to play that. And it's nice to see the differences between the original Mother and Earthbound. But we've never gotten Mother 3. There's a translation out there. It exists. There's a fan translation, too, that is apparently amazing. But we've never had it released here. It's never come out. And it sucks. This is Nintendo's most unique franchise, as far as I'm concerned. It's something that I think that if they really embraced it and really kind of put themselves behind, they could have something remarkably special here as kind of like a lighthearted Persona. But we don't have that. It's just forgotten. Banjo-Kazooie is kind of like Mega Man Legends being on this list because we've technically seen games with them in it. But I mean, the newest game that they've been in is Smash Ultimate, and that is not exactly a Banjo-Kazooie game. Now, the first two Banjo-Kazooie games, Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, are probably two of the best 3D platformers ever made. They are the epitome of what made Rare great. They were creative, they were silly, they were irreverent, they were fun. And then we got Nuts and Bolts in 2008, and that game sure does exist. Oh boy. So This is the part where Jay flails a little bit and is struggling with trying to say something nice if you can't say anything at all, and then just gives up on that. Now back to the show. I really wanted to like Nuts and Bolts. I really did. And instead what I got is a game that's trying way too hard. I can't have fun with it because everything I think about when I'm playing it is how much I would rather be playing just another traditional 3D platformer starring Banjo and Kazooie. Bring me Banjo 3. I want it. And today there's nothing new. There's no new Banjo-Kazooie out there. There's nothing, at least that I've seen. I mean, people have talked about how there's rumored to be new Banjo-Kazooie in development, but I mean, that's been rumored now for 17 years, and it hasn't happened yet. So until it does, I'm considering these guys benched, and that sucks, because they're just a nostalgia act now that Microsoft trots out every once in a while. I love the Golden Sun franchise. I love Camelot Software. Like, they're one of my favorite developers ever. Like, they started out making games like Shining Force, which is one of my favorite franchises ever. They've moved on to making things like Golden Sun, which we're talking about right here. And Golden Sun is one of those rare RPGs that not only has deep mechanics, has amazing pixel art, and incredible animations that look like they were about to melt your Game Boy Advance. It just was amazing. The gameplay was fantastic. The story was wonderful. Like, the little details. You shaking your head or nodding your head in the icon on screen to answer yes or no, as opposed to just having text on screen. It's stuff like that that shows the dedication that Camelot had to making a great game. And then we got the DS release. We got Golden Sun Dark Dawn on the DS, which ended in a cliffhanger 15 years ago. 15 years ago. We're at the point where it's now or never. Like, we're almost to the point where people have aged out of caring. Camelot, please. Let's talk to Nintendo here. Let's put Mario's golf clubs on the back burner. Let's leave them on the cart. Let's hang up the rackets. Let's finish the story with Golden Sun.
Challenge 1. Are you ready?
I think I've told the story about the first time I saw Power Stone and how much it absolutely captivated my mind. I was living in Orlando, Florida at the time. Well, Castleberry, Florida, which is one of the Orlando suburbs. I was working in a Barney's Coffee and Tea at a grocery store across the street from our complex. And as I was walking home, I popped into the little arcade that was right at the end of our street called Rocky's Replay. Single greatest arcade in the history of arcades, as far as I'm concerned. I miss it. It was amazing. And I walked in, and they had a brand new game called Power Stone, and I had never heard of the damn game before, and what I saw was amazing. It was a cartoon 3D arena battler. It was basically, what if Super Smash Brothers hit the arcade, down 50 beers, and did a backflip off a balcony? You got Power Stone. It was incredible. And then it released on the Dreamcast. It was so good. I loved it. It is still, to this day, one of my absolute favorite franchises. And then Power Stone 2 improved on it. We got more craziness. They added co-op, and then they did nothing with it. They put it in the PSP collection once. They re-released 1 and 2 in Capcom Fighting Collection 2. We haven't even had the characters cameo in a Street Fighter game or a Marvel vs. Capcom game. They just gave up.
Round 1, fight!
I loved 3D fighting games from Capcom. I loved that we had things like Street Fighter EX plus Alpha because I thought it was fantastic, and I loved Rival Schools. It had heart. It was silly and weird. It was a fighting game built around an anime high school, and you fought your teachers and fellow classmates and other schools, and I loved it. It was wonderful. It was tag team combat, and it was brilliant. It was colorful. It was chaotic. It was years ahead of its time, and then we got Project Justice on the Dreamcast, which was also awesome and kind of refined a lot of what we saw on Rival Schools from the arcades and the PlayStation. And then Capcom did nothing with it. There's a whole lot of Capcom doing nothing with franchises I like, I realize as I'm doing this video. Now, every once in a while, we'll get a character from Rival Schools tossed into something as kind of like a fan service tribute act, but we haven't seen a full-blown revival. We haven't seen them come back full-on yet, and that stinks because this is a really kind of clever franchise and something that ties heavily into Street Fighter because Sakura is a character in Rival Schools and Project Justice. And I would love to see that kind of expanded upon and brought forward and at least tied in because 3D Street Fighter games can be hit or miss. The EX plus Alpha franchise, which I mentioned earlier, I really enjoyed, but it was a little clunky. But Rival Schools really perfected it and really made it something special. All right, we're saving the biggest for last, and that is Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Chrono Trigger is probably one of the best RPGs of all time. Like, I think everyone agrees with that that's ever played it. Just they see the inherent artistry behind it. They see kind of the ambitiousness behind it, and and how wide-spanning it was. And it's a brilliant game that holds up to this day. And every version we've gotten of Chrono Trigger, both the original and the DS release, have been fantastic, and they have played amazingly well. I would love to get an HD 2D remake of Chrono Trigger. I think it would be wonderful. Chrono Cross as well, I thought was fantastic. And I know that one's a little bit more divisive because people don't like it as much, but it was still a very ambitious game. It was still unforgettable, and we had amazing characters in that one, just like we had in Chrono Trigger. And some of those characters from Chrono Trigger tied into Cross. But since Chrono Cross in 1999, nothing. No sequels. We haven't had any more sequels. We did have the re-release of Chrono Trigger on the DS, and we have had the remaster of Chrono Cross that recently released, but there's been no new game in the franchise. The franchise hasn't carried forward, just people wondering what might have been. We want new adventures. We want a brand new trip through time, but we don't have that. I hope we get it soon. I think that would be wonderful. While there are so many popular franchises that continue to produce iteratively, there are a ton of ones that were popular in the past that have just died a death. This is just a sample of some of them. We'll be revisiting this in the future. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below what your favorite forgotten franchises are. And of course, there's some honorable mentions here as well. Games like Battle Arena Toshinden, that series that just died out on the PlayStation 1. Final Fight, which hasn't seen a release in about 15 years. Games like that. Let me know your favorites in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. The engagement helps the channel out. And if you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you stick around. But until next time, folks, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.